And good morning at 7:03 on this Wednesday, August 7th. It's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
Hello, everybody. Welcome on Wednesday morning. Going to be a wonderful Wednesday, I'm sure. And we survived the rain, the thunderstorm, whatever passed through last night. I hardly knew it was happening, and I had a good night's sleep. So it's wonderful today. We are on the air for Cedarstone Bank of Lebanon, Mount Juliet, Donaldson. And Robert McDonald is here this morning to do the commercial time. And, Robert, always good to see you.
Coleman, great to see you as well.
And a good morning to you.
Good morning. I had a good night's sleep as well. That storm kind of relaxed me last night, so it was good.
We talk about a lot of different things, but this morning, since your father isn't here,
right,
the Fed did barely lower an
They did.
rate.
Yeah, we expected
whatever
that.
Rate they mess with. I'm not into all that.
That short-term rate, that prime rate, Coleman, as you hear about, and some loans, not all, or that can affect that. But that did go down 1/4 basis point to 5.25. So that will affect some revolving accounts. Home equity lines of credit are normally tied to that prime rate in some way of fashion on most financial institutions. So it's good for most when it comes to the interest rate that's tied to the prime. But the rates are they're historically still fairly low, as we always talk about.
Well, part of what you do is lend money at the Donaldson office, and how long you actually been with Cedarstone?
I've been at the bank now 6.5 years. Going on to my 7th year with the bank, and then banking about 10 years. Started worked for two other institutions before I came on with Cedarstone.
But you're the man in charge in Donaldson, pretty much, right?
Don't let Willie hear you say that, okay? I'll keep that between me and you.
Do you have the title of a branch manager? Let me see I've got your card here. Let me see what it says. Robert L. McDonald, Vice President, Relationship Manager.
That's right.
We'll leave it at that.
We'll leave it at that. We have a great team. We, Coleman, and as you know, you've met most of the team before when you visit the Donaldson office, and everybody's doing great, and the Donaldson community is wonderful. Loving our location. This month, August, is an anniversary when we built that, or moved into that location, meaning I guess it's 3-4 years now. So hard to believe, but it's been great.
But it's been you had a good operation. The bad part was really you were in the old Gideon's building there, and you didn't really have, as far as your building went, you didn't have an identity.
Great operation, just the visibility was low. Now, fortunately for us, as you know, we are a relationship bank, so people who know us know where we are. But we've gained so much exposure just by those, driving to and from Wilson County, Davidson County to Nashville and back every day, that they thought we were a brand new bank in town. They said, "Welcome to the area." I said, "Well, we've been here for 10 years." But so it's worked out great with new relationships that were brought in just because of the visibility. It's been wonderful.
Well, and of course, you are in business to make loans, and you can get your loan at Cedarstone as well.
Loan at Cedarstone,
and
yes, sir.
You love being able to help somebody out. People need money. You lend them money. That's the way you make money, but it helps them achieve a goal of their own.
Yes, so we love doing that. Sitting down and really looking over. We do not pull credit on somebody and tell you yes or no. At that decision. Some places do that. We look at everything. We understand that life happens. There might be a medical thing here that you may have forgot about. It could be $50, but it could still be a collection that impacts your credit score. And so we look at everything and try to make it work. And if we cannot at that time, try to help guide those on let's look in 6 months from now and let's get a few things cleaned up and let's revisit this at that time. So we enjoy doing that, and that's what we do every day.
Well, that's good to know as well. Another thing, you try to get yourself involved in the community, and you have a special relationship with McGavock High School.
We do, yes, sir. As you know, school started back, and our Student of the Month will begin. Again, we do that starting in September. We let everybody kind of get in August, but we'll start that again on a monthly basis. Students selected by their peers and their teachers to come spend a day with us, shadow the staff at the branch, and take them to the Chamber of Commerce luncheon, meet the business people in the community, and talk about their future. So we can't wait to get that started back up again next month.
That's got to be an exciting time for that student and something special to them, I would think.
Oh, it really is. That they come back. We just a few days ago, one of the students that we helped, a senior who was one of our now graduated college and came back for their first car loan out of school to come see us. It meant so much to them, and it's just now they're having their primary banking relationship with Cedar Stone Bank. But the family of the kids love it. The kids love it as well, and just a great way to kind of get them exposure to the business community.
Well, it is a relationship thing, and one of the best ways to start that banking relationship is with a free checking account at Cedar Stone.
I'll let Bob know we talked about it. The Simply Free checking account. Of course, everything's free about it, Coleman. We pay for your checks. No minimum balance required. No service charge at all. You can use your ATM or debit card anywhere in the world. We reimburse that foreign ATM fee if you need to access your money. Online banking, mobile check deposit, all the works free at Cedar Stone Bank.
Right, and we can say really it's more than free checking. Which I don't think we've exactly expressed in that way.
Sure.
It's no doubt it is free checking with no strings attached, but there's really more that goes with it, as you just said.
There really are. There's so much tied to that. That's a great point. That's a great point. So
I mean, there are other places where you can get free checking. I wonder if you can get as much with it as you do.
There's other places they might say free checking, but it requires a direct deposit, or it requires so many ATM transactions. It requires other things, but there are literally no strings attached to our free checking account.
And y'all just love, Bob does, especially loves to get on here and talk about somebody in Italy or Timbuktu or wherever.
He said Cedar Stone is now a global institution. That's what he'll say when somebody's traveling.
using that foreign ATM machine, and we're going to reimburse.
That's right. Cedar Stone's gone global. That's what he always says.
Well, Robert, it's good to have you today, and hope you have a great day and a great week. We'll see you next time.
Coleman, thank you. Great to see you.
Robert McDonald, Cedar Stone Bank, Lebanon, Mount Juliet, Donaldson. Simple banking, simply better. 10 after the hour, and the first Wednesday of each month, almost without fail, from the beginning of Coleman and Company. We have invited someone from the UT Extension office to be with us, and she is here today. Shelley Barnes, good morning to you.
Good morning, Coleman. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, and glad to see you, and glad to have the cooperation that we've had. Now, I was just thinking back as I said that, it seemed like John Baker used to come. I'm not sure. I had him on a regular basis. He may have just come whenever I called him, but JW came out. But I know with Miss Ruth, we got this thing going where the first Wednesday, and unless there's something really special comes up on one side or the other, one of y'all are here.
Yes.
And it works real well.
And we're so thankful for the partnership, Coleman, to be able to come to the local radio station and talk about our educational opportunities and the impact, hopefully, that we're making in Wilson County. It's just such a good partnership that we have. And I remember as a young 4-H'er in Cannon County going to the radio station and talking about my project. And so I think that, this is a tradition that most counties have with their local radio station. It's a good one to have, too.
Well, thank you. We're glad. I didn't know about your Cannon County experience. You're from Cannon County.
Yes, I'm from Cannon County, and we've known each other for a long time now, and you didn't know that. So, yeah, grew up in Cannon County. I did.
Yeah, I guess it's Cannon County High School.
Cannon County High School.
You know how that is.
Yeah.
Okay. But what since we haven't talked about this before much, what did you do after high school?
So after high school, I went to Motlow Community College in McMinnville for a few years. My parents, I wanted to go to UT because of all the exposure 4-H gave me. My parents kind of wanted to keep me a little closer to home, and then I guess got cold feet and felt like that was probably the better option, was to stay closer. So I stayed at home and went to Motlow. It turned out to be the best choice. And then I transferred to MTSU, where I graduated in 2004 with my undergrad, and then made a lot of great relationships there and became a graduate assistant in the Human Sciences Department. And MTSU paid for my master's degree. And so finished in 2006. Just shortly after I came here, I was just working on my thesis when I started working as an extension agent. And so, everything happens for a reason, and my path, was the best path that I could take. And so it led me here to Wilson County, and I've been here since 2006.
this where you met Johnny?
No, actually, Johnny and I were in 4-H together, and so we are a 4-H love story from high school. And I like to tell people that we were sweet on each other when we were in high school in 4-H. Our 4-H agents actually were really good friends, and he's from DeKalb, as you know, and I'm from Canaan, and so we're so close, you know, county-wise, that we would ride to a lot of events together. And so I liked him and he liked me. And we went on a date when he was a freshman in college. And then we both, you know, went our separate ways. I was at Middle and he was in Knoxville. And then when I was looking for extension jobs, because that's what I wanted to do from high school on, I've always wanted to be an extension agent. There was an opening here in Wilson County, and so in my opinion, the first thing you should do is look at the office staff to see if you know anyone, right? And I did, and I knew Johnny Barnes, and so I called him, because back then, you know, you wasn't really texting first. And he said, yeah, why don't you come by and meet the office staff and see the office? And I had never been to Wilson County, to my knowledge, unless we had come through and I didn't know where I was. And so I navigated myself to Lebanon, and I met the office staff, and I really liked everybody, and, you know, felt like I fit in and applied. And it was between Moore County and Wilson County. They really wanted me to go to Moore County because I grew up in Canaan County, a small county. You know, they felt like Wilson might be a little too big for me. And Moore County's great. I love Lynchburg. It's a nice, quaint area. And Mr. Lester was our regional director at the time. And I said, Mr. Lester, I will go wherever you tell me to go. But if you put me in Moore County, I'm going to transfer after 18 months, because I don't want to be in a small county. I wanted to be, you know, the place. I wanted to be where the place to be was, you know, where things were happening. And it turned out he listened to me, and I said, if you put me in Wilson, I can handle it, and I will succeed, and I will do, you know, what I need to do, and I'm still here. And so Johnny and I got engaged about 6 months after I started working here, and so we're an extension family.
All right. What are you going to talk about today?
Well, I have so many things that we've been doing.
We'll just save it. We've got to go through it right here.
Sounds
good. The fair's part of it.
Part of it.
Okay. Shelley Barnes is here. More coming up on Coleman & Company FM 98.
And it's 7:17. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to Bates Ford and the Works Vehicle Checkup. They'll make sure your vehicle is ready for any road. $39.95. That includes 5 quarts of oil, tax and disposal, tire rotation, and a safety check. Bates Ford, 1673 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Well, good morning. Traffic's really heavy out here now, as you can expect this time of the morning on 65 southbound at Trinity Lane, latest wreck out west, Highway 100 and OHB, 40 eastbound at McCrory Lane. That's also a crash. Still working several other wrecks like that one, 440 east at 65. They moved that one over to the side on 40 west as you make your way past OHB, coming in through Hermitage right now. Princess Hot Chicken is the original hot chicken. Check it out today. 5814 Nolensville Pike. I'm Commander Chuck, your on-time traffic.
This is Bob McDonough with Cedarstone Bank. We know there are times when financial circumstances can be complicated for families and businesses, but we do not believe the solutions need to be. That's why for 15 years we've been delivering simple banking to our customers while still offering all services and products. We're thankful for our customers and the communities that we serve. If you don't bank with us, it would be our pleasure to visit with you and talk about how simple banking is simply better.
Cedarstone Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Since they retired, one couple has ridden every wooden roller coaster in America. What are your goals for the future? Your Waypoint financial professional can help you develop a financial plan to get there. Waypoint, your future, your way. Call your Waypoint financial professionals, Bill Bryson, David Gordon, Tracy Hay, and Tony Helton at 615-444-6548 or log on to axaonline.com. Financial planning services provided by Axter Advisors, LLC.
At Absolute Kubota, now you can get a great-looking cut in less time, every time. With an Exmark, the mowers landscape pros trust 2-to-1 over the next best-selling brand of mowers. Right now, Exmark is offering great incentives on the newly redesigned Quest, our most affordable zero-turn riders, starting as low as just $32.99. Check out all the special Exmark deals today at Absolute Kubota, 1325 West Main Street, Lebanon, Tennessee. Exmark, ready to work for you.
Coleman and Company here on Wednesday morning. Shelley Barnes is with us. We're having fun on and off here.
Yes.
I found out a lot about you this morning. I didn't know you found out a thing or two.
I did.
I hadn't been anywhere.
We decided Coleman has got to start going on some adventures in Tennessee. Staycations, Coleman.
Yeah. Okay, let's get rolling for what
Sure.
you really came out here for.
Yeah, well, we've had a big summer, had a lot of different things going on. Start out with, a few weeks ago, we had a cooking day camp. Morgan is one of our 4-H agents, and we worked with Carrie Sheehane, who is one of our volunteer leaders, and we worked with about 20 4-Hers, and I taught them how to can strawberry jam. And they all went home with a half-pint sized jar of jam, and we hope to see most of them in the fair as entries, and so that was exciting. And Morgan taught them how to make butter, and Carrie taught them how to make biscuits and gravy, and so we just had a great time. So, you know, if you have a 4th through 12th grader that's interested in anything really, 4-H is a great organization.
Are they really eager to learn?
Sure.
Most of them really pay attention and learn.
Yes. The thing about 4-H is that the students sign up for it. You know, it's not a requirement. It's something that they want to learn about. And so, they were really excited about learning how to preserve their own food, which, you know, when we think about that, we don't really think about youngsters being even remotely interested in that. But yeah, they had a lot of questions on, you know, the science of food preservation and, you know, how long it keeps and, you know, all of those things and what makes it gel. And so, it was a neat experience. So,
Well, it was almost, some of that was almost a necessity, 2 or 3 generations.
Oh, yeah,
But
it was.
we've gotten away from it a lot.
Yes, and we talked about that, you know, too. We talked about kind of the history of food preservation, and so they were really excited, and they were excited to have an entry for the fair. So we hope to see those Saturday, you know, because we're taking entries on Saturday at the fair.
Okay.
So it's going to be an exciting time. And yesterday, we had a group of 4-Hers compete in the FCS, Family and Consumer Sciences Skillathon contest at Tennessee Tech. And we had 6 4-Hers, and they did a great job. FCS Skillathon is, it's basically learning about various parts of family consumer sciences. So it could be food safety, food products, sewing, even interior design, and then tackling problems, real world problems. And so they had to go in and identify several different items, and then they had some classes, so they were given like a scenario, and they had to determine what was the best choice. I think their classes yesterday were cereals and fast food. So they were given like healthy, you know, or like menu options, and they had to choose, you know, which one was the best, depending on what the scenario was. And then they had a group process where they were given a situation, and then they had to come up with solutions on, you know, and I think that process was, there was maybe a natural disaster, and they had to come up with a plan for Wilson County to make sure that everybody knew what to do. So it was a neat event. We placed 8th, and it was a good experience for these kids. We had our new 4-H agent, Leah Sliger. She started last week, and so she's hit the ground running. And this was a good experience for her to be able to see that contest in action and prepare for next year, hopefully. So we had a good day yesterday.
Well, that sounds like you did.
Yeah, and so Saturday's the big day for the fair, Coleman. Saturday is entry day. We'll be taking entries at the Wilson County Fairgrounds, James E. Ward Ag Center in the Expo building for the adult categories, and then also in the East-West Education building for the youth category. So we hope that lots of people have made handmade items and want to bring them to showcase them at the Wilson County Fair.
I think that the garden produce is at a different time.
Yeah, so that would be next Thursday.
That's a little
so
bit
the
later.
Thursday before the fair, because that's the perishable items, and we want to make sure, that they can hold up for the 9 days.
Yeah, these are the things that don't fall into that category.
Yes, these would be non-perishable. Yeah, so we're excited to see everybody's entries and hope that we have, always want to have more than we had last year. So
you have quite a bit of 4-H participation in these entries too, don't you?
Yes, we always hope to have a lot of 4-Hers entered in the youth division, and lots of FCE members and Master Gardeners even, and just everyone else that maybe don't fall in that category in the adult entries as well. So
more winners come from maybe Master Gardeners?
I don't know. I don't know the statistics on that, so I'd hate to say.
Well, just wondering. But they might have maybe a leg up on some of the rest of us.
Well, they might.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they went through that class and they might be more knowledgeable, so that might be an incentive to go through that class with Lucas Coleman, and they can call the office and find out more information about that.
Speaking of Lucas, he's a trip anyway.
He is. He keeps things lively around the office, so we're excited to have him.
Seems to be very knowledgeable when he's been here, very knowledgeable about fruits and vegetables and all that, diseases that you encounter and that kind of thing.
Yes, and pests. He is very knowledgeable about all of those things, and I think that he's kind of like a walking encyclopedia. He just he doesn't really have to look up a lot of things. He just knows it. So he's just very knowledgeable about those things. We're glad to have him.
Yeah, we've mentioned this several times, and it's good if you can know all that off the top of your head and all that. But even if you don't know all the answers, you have the resources. There's tremendous resource through the Extension Service.
Yes, and that's kind of my key slogan there, is that, I'm just one person and I can't know all the answers, but we have lots of friends and colleagues around the state and even in the country, and it's just a click away, and we can usually find the answer to, the problems that our clients have. And so, call us and get to know us, because we can help you in a variety of ways.
By the way, your name was mentioned the other day. We did a program on I believe it's the Oakland FCE that has that ice cream social.
I was listening.
Did you, by any chance, get to make that?
I didn't get to go this year, and I was so sad for a lot of reasons. My niece starts high school this year, and so I'd already planned before I guess they had even let me know when it was going to be. I was taking her on a girls' day, and so I really hated to miss that. But I know it was a great event. They always do such a good job.
Yeah, and they mentioned that what really was mentioned, and you heard it, but we'll repeat it here, that you can't make all of their FCE meetings anymore, that maybe you get around once a year or something like that, because Shelley can only do so much.
That's true. Yeah, and FCE is just one portion of my job. I do lots and lots of other things, but they're very important to me, and they do such a wonderful job and have such a great outreach in the county. They do so many things for so many people.
I've mentioned this before, and I know I'm old, and I remember how it was a long time ago, and it's not exactly that way anymore. But we had the Home Demonstration Club, and my mother was a member for a long time. Even took me with her some when I was a little boy. So I sort of know a little bit about it. I mentioned that to say that I'm glad that concept is still with us. Now, it's changed some, even changed the name of it, but it's still some of the same thing is there.
Yes, it's still here, still going strong. Things usually change, and sometimes change is for the better, and sometimes it's not. I definitely think that the changes related to home demonstration or FC have been good changes. They're still connected to their communities. That's their number one goal, is to provide community service efforts to Wilson County, but then also education. They've got that foundation of education. They educate their members and educate other people in the community, and all of that education is provided through UT Extension. So we know that it's research-based, and it's good factual information. So, and it's usually topics that they're interested in learning about. So,
let me ask this: are you a lot busier when the fair comes? I know you have you have some participation there, but does it consume all your time, or are you able to balance pretty well even with the fair?
Yeah. Yes, I'm busy all the time during the fair. Our whole office is really connected to the fair, and why wouldn't we be? I really like the way Mayor Hutto put in his newsletter this week. It's kind of like our annual family get together or annual family reunion. And that's really what the fair should be about, is all of us coming together and working together. Not just the extension office, but, there's like 1,000 volunteers for the fair that put on this grand celebration, which is the theme this year. And that's what it is. It's a celebration of Wilson County. And so, we're busy, just like everybody else is busy with the fair. It's really hard to do much of anything else the weeks leading up, and especially the week during the fair. We do. We plan for that. And we have kind of certain assignments that we do as extension agents. For example, my main focus is to work with the Adult Family Consumer Sciences Department, as well as we have FC Cultural Arts, which are competitive exhibits within that area, and then we have an FCE fashion review. We have several separate contests as well that are service oriented, like Caps for Cancer, and we have the Preemie Caps are new this year. We have the Sampler Quilt Block contest and the Preemie Quilts. So all of those are donated, to a certain organization at the end. And so I guess my biggest job is to secure judges for the fair, which is a really important component.
And sometimes hard to do.
But what's exciting...
Well, I mean, it's hard to find judges. And I don't know how hard the judging is.
Well, the judging, the act of judging is pretty hard, but finding judges, you're right, is hard as well. But what we have done a few years ago, a group of agents in the central region, so within this Middle Tennessee area, got together and decided that we really needed some help, because lots of times extension agents will just come and judge. And, usually there's just one family consumer science agent in each county, and there's lots, most counties have a fair, and it's really hard to take time away from our county and to go and judge these events, even though it's one of the most joyful times to, and it's really exciting to be able to see what everybody's doing. So we created a judging school where we actually train people that are interested in learning about judging how to properly judge. And so it's helped a lot.
We're out of time. Shelley, thanks for being with us.
Thanks,
today.
Coleman.
You always do a good job. You just keep on keeping on.
Thank you so much.
Right.
You too.
Part one of Coleman and Company is through. Stay tuned for more. FM 98.9.
And at 7:33, let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to Absolute Kubota and Rental Redmax. Complete inventory of weed eaters, blowers, hedge trimmers for the commercial user and homeowner with up to a 4-year warranty. 1325 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Well, good morning. Very heavy traffic right now as we check it out live. 65 southbound as you come through Madison. Several wrecks out here, including one in the 12,000 block of OHB that's going to be south of town. There's a lot of traffic, of course, still trying to get up 24 right now through the Hickory Hollow area and that construction. All that traffic flow coming in from Rutherford County. Highway 100 at OHB out on the west side. That's a crash. It's still very busy through Kingston Springs right now. That traffic volume on 40 East coming from Dixon County. Get the lowest prices on most of your airline tickets. Smart Fares can save you 70% off. Call them today at 1-800-915-2544. I'm Commander Chuck. You're on time traffic.
She's taken care of you your whole life. Now it's your turn to take care of her. But with a family of your own and other responsibilities, there just aren't enough hours in the day. That's why it might be time to call the Pavilion Senior Living. From bathing, dressing, housekeeping, and meals, the Pavilion Senior Living is committed to being senior living you can trust for your loved one. Find out more at pavilionseniorliving.com or call 444-5556. That's 444-5556.
We're officially halfway through the work week. That very summer-like pattern will continue for Middle Tennessee. We're looking at a mix of clouds and sun with a few scattered storms during the afternoon. Highs will top out in the lower 90s with feel-like temps in the upper 90s. That chance will taper off after the sun goes down with lows falling to right around 70. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Nisa Lomax.
Coleman and Company, welcome to part 2. Here on a Wednesday morning, we are welcoming Philip Etherly, as we always do, to talk about Absolute Gremlin Supply, 1325 West Main here in Lebanon. Good morning.
Morning, Coleman.
We were talking about this little storm we had last night, and it might have been a big storm. I don't know. I don't know if any damage at my house, and I didn't pay a whole lot of attention to it, but I do know one time we had that weather thing that comes across the TV.
Weather alert.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What do you know?
Well, like I say, at our farm out north of town, northwest of town, there came a pretty good storm last night about 8:30, 9 o'clock. And, we've had several storms here lately, and kind of blends right into, we've rented a lot of chainsaws, a lot of aerial lifts, people needing to clean this stuff up. Chippers have been a big item here in the last week or so due to all these storms we've been having. So if you have any damage, of course, give us a call. We'll be able to help you be able to get it cut up and get it removed or chipped.
Chainsaws are a big part of your rental business.
It really is. We do a lot of chainsaw rentals, and like I say, most people don't need one very often, and so it was very convenient for them just to come by and pick it up, rent it for a period, and then bring it back.
And if you're in that situation this morning, Philip's business is open right now.
Exactly. Yeah, we've got people running in and out all the time.
Open 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. 7 to 6. 7 to 6,
Monday through Friday, and 7 to 4 on Saturdays.
All right. And don't forget the phone number, because most of the time you got a question or you just need to use that phone, and it's an easy number to remember. 615, of course, 443-RENT, R-E-N-T.
Exactly.
That'll get you.
Yep.
You've talked about there are other things besides chainsaws that you mentioned a moment ago, but you've got to clean up some trees or something like that. What are others?
There's aerial lifts that can go up and you can trim the trees. If you've got a limb broke off high up in the tree, then of course you can rent an aerial lift and come in and get that cut back at the trunk and get it back where it needs to be. Like I said, there's all kind of different things. The chippers, if you don't want to haul them off, we actually have a dump trailer as well. If you want to rent a dump trailer to put all your limbs and stuff in and haul it off, you can do that. Or a lot of people these days just chip it up. They'll rent a chipper and run it through there and just make mulch out of it.
And one more thing regarding all of that, some of that is probably pretty big equipment. You may need it transported, and you're glad to take it to them and come and pick it up.
That's right. We do offer delivery and pickup, and that is very convenient for a lot of homeowners and small general contractors. And it's a very big part of our business. Very pleased with that. So just give us a call. We'll be able to get you fixed up.
Well, you run this commercial here throughout the day, throughout each week, that says everything from wallpaper steamers to bulldozers, and maybe a slight exaggeration. I don't know. Do you have wallpaper? You do have.
Oh, yes, we do have wallpaper.
And you do have bulldozers.
And we do have bulldozers.
Nearly everything in between.
Yeah. And it's kind of like, things kind of seems to go in cycles all the time. Like right now, all our bulldozers are out right now, and they got people waiting on them. So, we have a good mix when I don't want to say everything's seasonal, but when certain aspects start to slow down, other aspects pick up. And right now, there's still a lot of people who are wanting to do their pressure washing while it's hot in the summer, get the concrete cleaned and then sealed before we go into the fall. And I was thinking driving over here, getting ready for the fair, and already hearing football talk, fall is just right around the corner. And that's when a lot of people try to have everything in their yards really spruced up, looking good. Fall becomes the seeding and aeration time. I'm not quite ready to start talking about that yet. It's not quite time, but those seasonal things come in and out, and it's really I think it's a good thing about our business because we're not dealing with the same thing all year long.
Yeah. Well, there's probably a lot of people who could use some help here with their pressure washers. If they don't have one, rent one from you. And you've got that special gadget that makes it go
The
faster.
surface cleaner, yes, sir. That makes everything, makes the cleaning process goes in. I had a customer come in yesterday and rent that one of them for 3 days. He says, "Oh, this saves us so much time." So he is a big commercial complex type deal, and they were going to do it. So they rented it for 3 days.
It's amazing what those pressure washers can do, and you really forget how dirty the sidewalk or your brick mailbox or patio or whatever can be.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
it can really spruce it up in a hurry.
It really does. But, as we all talk about all the time, just give us a call. If you've got a project going on, give us a call, explain to us what you're wanting to do, and we can always try to set you up with the right piece of equipment.
You're going to do your best to find the perfect solution for your customer.
It really is. That's our goal, is to have the customer get a job done in a very efficient way, and we were able to rent the equipment out and have it in the right application.
And because of your experience and all these years doing this, 18 now, I believe it is,
Yep.
You can answer these questions quickly, but you do need to know a little bit about what they're going to do to correctly advise.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, Philip, it's always good to have you. We appreciate your visit every Wednesday, and come back next week. We'll do it again.
All right. I want to make sure everybody comes out and visits the Absolute Kubota booth at the fair. We're going to have a couple different setups there, and so make sure to tell everybody to come out and visit us.
All right. Well, thanks again. And remember, Absolute Rental and Supply, 1325 West Main, 615-443-RENT. See you next time. We are 21 minutes before the hour, and we had a Lebanon City Council meeting last night. Lebanon Mayor Bernie Ash is here to talk about that and probably other things. Mayor, good morning.
Good morning, Coleman.
Doing okay?
Doing very well.
Yeah.
We survived the storm last night.
What about you? Survived it? Yeah. Well, I don't know. I guess depends on where you were as to what may have happened, and hopefully nothing really too serious. But when you know a storm like that's coming through, there might be some winds, might be some hail. It's good to be warned to at least take notice and be as prepared as you can.
That's true. We were at Chili's when the rain came down, so we just settled back and continued eating.
Chilled out at Chili's.
Chilled out at Chili's.
Well, what kind of meeting was there last night?
Well, it was a fairly short meeting last night. We had a problem with advertising our public hearing. We didn't get the announcement out properly, so we had to cancel the public hearing. And likewise, we had like 9 or 10 items on the new business that we couldn't do, so we had to cancel that. So we had a fairly short meeting last night. You may have talked to me about baseball.
Well, I can do that. I don't know whether you can talk to me about baseball.
I can grunt at you. I don't know. One thing, but before we get to it, one thing that I did want to talk about and mention was the Veterans Museum. Mm-hmm. We had an exhibit there, or they had an exhibit that was very, very interesting. They had, I guess I forgot the doctor's name now, that he had over 100 World War II shoulder patches. Mm-hmm. And they were donated.
Well, I'll bet a veteran like you would be even more interested in that than maybe the average citizen.
Probably so.
Yeah.
Probably so. And,
well, was there pretty good attendance for that?
Had a good opening, and had several people there to see the exhibit. And Catherine over at the Election Commission, her I believe it was her father or grandfather, was a dentist here, and forgive me for forgetting his name, but
Dr. Howard.
Dr. Howard, that's
yes.
correct. Thank you. But it was so exciting. He began collecting those patches during the maneuvers here when he was a boy.
Dr. Billy Howard, wasn't it? I think that's right.
It could
yes.
be. It
yes.
could be. I remember Dr. Howard's name, but I forgot it right there.
Hey, we're both seniors.
Absolutely. I remember that every day sometimes. But it was a very good exhibit. I've been very excited with the way that Michael McPherson and the crew had been managing the museum. Mm-hmm. They had, for the second time, they had the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. This is a replica that goes around the country, and they've been here twice now, and that was a very moving exhibit. It's an exact scaled replica of the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier.
Have you seen that in, I guess it's in Washington, D.C.?
Yes, I have.
You've got to go there one time and see the changing of the guard.
Yeah.
And it's quite impressive.
Very, very, very moving.
Yeah.
And I was told by I have a senior mom, forgot who told me, but they're going to have a photography exhibit in the near future, and I was lucky to go with Jerry McFarland to the gentleman who had this exhibit. It's not just pictures, a lot of pictures, but it's actually cameras and a lot of artifacts from the different wars. One of the cameras will be on exhibit is the camera that actually took the picture of the flag over Iwo Jima. So that's going to be, of course, I love photography, but that's going to be an exciting exhibit for everybody when it comes around. So be aware that in the near future that's going to show up.
Okay. Why don't we go ahead and take our break right here? I think MJ is ready. We're ready, so we'll take a break. We've got more with Lebanon Mayor Bernie Ash coming up on the other side here on Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And it's 7:43. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to Absolute Kubota and Rental, they have RedMax complete inventory of weed eaters, blowers, hedge trimmers for the commercial user and homeowner with up to a 4-year warranty. 1325 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Well, good morning. Bumper to bumper traffic waiting for you here. Obviously, 65 southbound at Trinity Lane. So far, so good. Here, as you make your way down Ellington Parkway from the top to the bottom, it's heavy Briley Parkway there at M Hill Pike as they finish up an accident there in Hermitage. Still a lot of traffic coming in through Mount Juliet right now on 40 westbound from Wilson County towards Nashville. Hey, around the neighborhood oil change will come to you at home or work, saving you time and money. I personally use these guys, and they are the best. Call Around the Neighborhood Oil Change at 709-2645. I'm Commander Chuck. You're on time traffic.
Gregory Dental in Lebanon is a family dental practice located across from University Medical Center. They offer cosmetic procedures, dental implant services, and now featuring new digital dentures. Premium dentures in just 2 appointments. No insurance, no problem. Call about our discount plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Derek Gregory. In my office, you can count on compassionate staff who will truly listen to you, take the time to get to know you, and discuss your personal needs. I look forward to meeting you.
Gregory Dental Group, 444-0322, West Medore Parkway across from Gibbs Pharmacy.
This is Philip Etherly with Absolute Rental and Supply. Whether it's cleaning, painting, remodeling, or simply getting better organized, we have the tools and equipment to get the job done. Scaffolding, paint sprayers, ladders, power saws, portable heaters, temporary lighting, generators, hardwood floor staplers, from wallpaper steamers to bulldozers, Absolute Rental has what you need. Call 615-443-RENT. Absolute Rental and Supply. We have what you need.
Head coach Mike Vrabel's in year number 2 with talent on defense.
It's intercepted! Kevin Myers! Jarrell Casey! First John Evans! Landry with the sack!
Join us right here with the voice of the Titans, Mike Keith, and Coach Dave McGinnis.
Brought to you by Absolute Kubota Exmart, Bates Ford, Fakes and Hooker, Steamwell Plumbing, and the Jewelers.
This is Wilson County's home for real country music and the Tennessee Titans. Real Country 98.9.
Coleman and Company, welcome to our program here on a Wednesday morning. Hopefully it's going to be a wonderful Wednesday, and it is, it's wonderful to be up and alive in Tennessee. And
absolutely.
Go and do whatever you're supposed to do, and I'm supposed to be here, and Mayor, you're supposed to be here, and you are this morning to talk about last night's meeting. Getting back to it, there were a few things that we need to talk about, I think.
Yeah, well, there was a well, lost my train of thought here. One thing I wanted to mention was that we had already passed and accepted bids to redo the parking lot on the square, and we both noticed this week that they have started in earnest tearing up the square, and I promise you they're going to put it back together. the square the parking lot had some problems with drainage. It has had for years, and the water, standing water and that kind of thing. And plus it had potholes. It was getting a little bit rough, so we have decided to redo the parking lot. It's going to look beautiful when it's done.
Well, let's do a little history here. Of course, once upon a time, that's where the courthouse stood for years and years. When you and I were little boys, that's where the square, and that was probably the most outstanding building on the square was the courthouse there. But then, of course, it got torn down and made a parking lot. Now the parking lot needs some help, and that's what you're doing, a facelift.
Yeah, it is, and it's going to be fantastic when we get through with it. We're going to, of course, grade it and drain it, repave it and stripe it. We're going to put some landscaping around there with some irrigation to make sure the landscaping stays looking nicely. So we're also going to the first entrance as you turn off of the square onto South Cumberland, that's going to be closed. We're going to put a turn lane in there at the next entrance, so you can come in there. You can also come in on Gay Street side. So we're going to reroute the traffic around there, make it a little easier, and it's going to be extremely nice when it's done.
Well, one other thing I meant to say, once upon a time, the county actually owned that lot.
That's right.
And then there was a trade or some way, anyway, the city acquired it and has had it for some time. So it is city property, and the city is taking care of it.
It is. We'll make good. Of course, the square has been revamped and looks very nice, and we have gone back and put in some benches around the square and some trash cans that look nice. So the Beautification Commission has also done a lot of landscaping around the square, too. So we have one of the nicer squares in Tennessee, and we're very proud of that.
Will in the future, when you get this done, we still be able to, if you wanted to, hold an event over there in that parking lot like we've done before?
Yes, we sure can. Excuse me. We're also putting in some electrical outlets over there for when we have bands and things like that in there.
So that's going to even enhance something like that?
It will.
Okay.
It's really going to add to the value and the beauty of the square.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. What else do we need to talk about here?
Well, another thing that we did last night, now I know most of you don't keep up with the city council, and I don't blame you a bit, but
only the important stuff.
Only the important stuff. But Councilman Crowell had asked for a traffic light to be put up on Crowell Lane and Leeville Pike, and it's very much needed. And it got to be kind of a running joke that every meeting he would ask, "How's the traffic light coming?" Well, the traffic light is going to be installed. The bid was let, and they're going to change they're going to put in some turn lanes at Crowell Lane and Leeville Pike and put up a traffic light, which will make traffic in that area flow a lot smoother. Especially when there's an accident or something on the interstate, Leeville Pike gets very busy and jams up right there at Crowell Lane. So
it's pretty busy anyway. And
yes.
I don't think there's any question that's been needed for some time. And really, I'd have to agree with Chris. It's kind of been a long time coming. And there's been, I think part of the reason for it taking this long is that you wanted to do it right.
Yes.
And not just, I mean, there's more to it than just putting a traffic light there.
That's right. And we speeded it up because the city is doing a lot of the work instead of the states. That speeded the process up. So, of course, it added a little bit of expense to the city. But that's okay. We're going to fix that problem.
And then Chris won't have to ask.
That's right. We're going to shut Chris up for a little bit. But one of the things is, I didn't realize this, but when you have to order the poles and the cantilever for the traffic lights, and that takes 9 months to a year to get those things made and shipped. So,
are they custom made?
They must. I hope so. But it takes a while to do that. There are other places in the city that need traffic lights. One is where I come out of every morning is at Carver Lane. That's a dangerous area anymore, but we are planning on a traffic light being there. In fact, I think it's in the design stage right now. But
does
again,
the state have a lot to do with it? Or?
Yes, they're going to do that one.
They're doing it.
Okay. Right. But again, it's going to take from where we are now, it's going to take a year or so to get that done. So it's a very slow process. Government moves slow anyway, but
that's one thing and this all has to do with growth. But as we get more and more traffic on these roads, like Carver Lane or other places here, if we don't, we've got to think about traffic. I don't know about how many traffic lights are going to be needed, but it just seems like that. Anytime you get a more crowded area, there's going to be more cars, there's going to be more traffic. It's going to slow things up, and I don't know the answer, but I guess some more traffic lights in some places is going to be a necessity.
Traffic, as everybody knows, is a problem already, but it's probably going to get a little worse in the future as this growth continues. We are working on solving the problems. We have hired a traffic engineer. A very sharp lady named Kristen, and she is doing a fantastic job for us, and she's going to make a difference, and we're looking forward to that. We are going to have an intelligent traffic signaling program, which controls all the traffic lights from a central location and can see when the lights need to be adjusted, and we can do that without having to actually go out and to the pole where the controls are.
Manually or close to manually doing it. Okay, so in a peak time, the traffic light, the way it changes or whatever would be would adjust to the traffic flow to expedite the flow of traffic.
Exactly. Okay. Exactly. So that's one of the things that we're doing, and Kristen is working very hard to make other adjustments in traffic, and we're looking forward to some changes there. Yeah.
Anything else you want to mention about last night?
We had one fairly confusing to me ordinance. This was the first reading to waive a requirement of payment in lieu of sidewalks. What had happened was, I believe this is over on Hickory Ridge Road. Built a subdivision over there, and they're in phase 3 now, and between the developer and the city, we both have a little bit to do with this. We failed to build sidewalks on the road portion. We have a requirement that a contractor can do payment in lieu of sidewalks, and it was overlooked. The sidewalks were not needed, so he would have picked the in lieu of, and it was overlooked. So we had to correct that last night. And it was a little bit confusing. We had to approve the ordinance, and then I forget the technical term for the maneuver, but we passed another ordinance to waive the payment, and then left the original ordinance that would require a payment in lieu of. So this developer will end up paying a portion, an amount of money in lieu of building sidewalks.
Has this been a big problem, or is it with the in lieu of thing? Is that I mean, there are places where, at least right now, you don't need a sidewalk.
That's right.
And it seems senseless to pour money into fixing a sidewalk that you don't need.
That's correct.
And I guess the in lieu of was supposed to have helped alleviate that problem.
It is, and I mean, there's no sense putting a sidewalk where you don't need it, but we do continue to do it. We take the in lieu of money and build sidewalks, put it in a fund and build sidewalks where we do need sidewalks.
Okay.
It's a funding mechanism.
So then I guess that would be working. At least we're getting some sidewalks where we need them and not where we don't need them.
Exactly. You don't need a sidewalk out of the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
No. So that's working well for us.
You get many requests? You get either requests or complaints about sidewalks from citizens?
We did. It's not a huge problem, but and we've been building sidewalks. We have money every year to build sidewalks, and we do that. But our budget this year was $175,000, and you can't go very far with building sidewalks on $175,000. But we do get money from the state sometimes. We have also hired a grant writer who is helping us get money for not only sidewalks but parks and other things that we need in the city. He's doing a fantastic. Anthony Tate is his name, and he is working very hard to come up with grants and apply for them and work them through and get that help for us.
All right, I've got something else I want to bring up here in the last 2 minutes. If you're through here, what's going on with the Mitchell House?
Mitchell House. We have closed on the Mitchell House, and we are in the process of the Sigma Pi has moved out, and we will probably move in the end of this month, maybe into September. We're center.
Who's going to the Mitchell House?
Okay, my office and Debbie's office, the administration will go down there. Economic director will go down there. Our legal team will be down there, and our HR department will be down there. So we're basically clearing out the second floor and the administrative wing, and we'll open up the second and third floor to engineering and planning. They are stuffed on the third floor, very tight. We've got desks and offices basically in a hallway, and then basically where we need relief. So that will solve that problem. Debbie was going through some material recently and saw that when Don Fox built the main building into City Hall, he predicted that that would take care of our needs for 20 years, and we've been there 23 years. So hopefully the Mitchell House will take care of the next 20.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, glad to get a progress report there. This was the first meeting. It'll be another meeting in 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks, yeah.
During the week of the fair.
Yeah, first and third Tuesday.
Right. Well, Lebanon Mayor Bernie Ashe, thank you for being with us today, and we'll look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks, and in the meantime, I guess we'll see you at the Wilson County Fair.
Yeah, I'll be there.
All right. That's it for Wednesday. Hope you'll join us tomorrow for the Thursday edition. Till then, I wish you a wonderful day.